Hey everyone, today we're going to be breaking down the pros and cons of living in Markham. My name is Ralph Ciancio, and for the last 25 years, I've been building and selling real estate here in Markham. And as a Markham resident, I want to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of living in Markham. The city of Markham is often referred to as the Silicon Valley of the North, with its booming tech industries, vibrant communities, and amazing cultural diversity. There's no wonder why Markham is one of Canada's fastest growing cities. But like any place, living here comes with its pros and cons. So today we're going to break down what it's like to really live here in Markham. We're going to break down the job market, the cost of living, and even the local culture. So if you're thinking about moving to Markham, or you're just curious, be sure to watch to the end. Let's start off with one of the biggest draws of living in Markham, the job market. Markham is known as the Silicon Valley of the North because it's home to over 1,500 high-tech companies. Companies in technology and in the life sciences, huge names that you would know like IBM, Huawei, AMD, they've all set up shop right here in Markham, making it a great place for innovation and growth. Now, we've helped so many people who are moving into Markham as new hires for these high-tech companies. And a lot of times they may be working for the large companies that we all know, or subsidiaries or companies that support these big companies. Companies like Tesla. Tesla's not located here in Markham, but there's a handful of companies that support Tesla directly that are located right here at Warden and Highway 7. The city offers a wealth of opportunities for people in IT, engineers, and research. But it's not just tech. Markham's economy is diverse, with huge industries in finance, healthcare, and manufacturing. What's great about working in Markham is not just the working in Markham, it's the work-life balance that it can provide. Now, with so many companies offering flexible hours or work remotely, it really allows an opportunity for people to find that balance between work life and life. Markham is home to so many green spaces, parks, coffee shops, and small restaurants. It's easy to unwind after clocking out after a long day's work. So now the question you all been waiting for is, how much can you earn? Show me the money. Well, the average salary for an employee in the city of Markham is $64,000, which is more than 10% higher than their cohorts in Toronto proper, with an average salary of about $57,000. Now, top earners in Markham can earn over $90,000 a year, which is awesome. Of course, the sky is the limit, especially when you're working in niche markets. But something that's worth noting is that these averages are for salaries. We talked a lot about Markham being a breeding ground for big businesses. It's a huge opportunity for entrepreneurs and self-employed individuals. So those numbers aren't reflected in the averages. And of course, if you're running your own business and you're thriving in the city of Markham, the sky is the limit. Let's talk about something that makes Markham truly unique. It's cultural diversity. Markham is one of the most diverse communities in all of Canada, with over 70% of the population coming from Chinese, South Asian, or Middle Eastern descent. Now, a lot of the population in the last few years have come from those primary categories, but let's not forget the huge influence of European communities, Caribbean, and African culture in Markham. This melting pot is really what makes us unique, and it's really one of the things that I love most about living here. This rich diversity can be felt in every aspect of life here in Markham, from the festivals to the events, from arts even to food. You can enjoy a world of flavors right at your doorstep, from Chinese dim sum to Indian biryani to Persian kebabs to Italian pastas and even Greek gyros. You can enjoy a world of flavors at your doorstep. So in terms of where I love to eat, really depends on the mood I'm in and of course what part of Markham I'm at the time. If I'm at home and I'm looking for a quick bite, I love walking down to Folco's restaurant right in the heart of Main Street, Markham, which is at Markham Road and Highway 7. This family-run Italian restaurant is an awesome place if you're looking for a real authentic experience. I walk there with my family and we enjoy Friday night dinners, just chatting around a bowl of pasta as we talk about our day and our week. And if I'm looking for something with a little bit more kick, Scotty just opened up, and it's a Caribbean restaurant just along Highway 7 in Kennedy. Great place to grab some jerk chicken, The jerk chicken poutine is one of my favorites right now. And if I'm looking for a nice night out, maybe a planned event, I'm a huge fan of the restaurant Watercolors, located on Main Street, Unionville. It's a higher end Mediterranean style restaurant. And as you walk in there, you really feel like you're in Yorkville. Amazing ambiance, tremendous food, and just a really cool place to forget where you are and live in the moment. It's not just about the food. Markham celebrates diversity through so many different festivals, whether it's the Taste of Asia, the Markham Jazz Festival, the Lunar New Year Festival. There's always something going on that brings the community together. One of my favorite festivals, I say my top two, would be the Main Street Unionville Fest, and this place is rockin'. Now, my office is located right here on Main Street, Unionville, so, I do have an affinity to it, and the transformation that takes place of what is an already gorgeous historic street is tremendous. In one weekend, we'll have over 200,000 new visitors walking through the street, and it's filled with vendors, filled with entertainment, and just a great way to celebrate the start of the summer here in Unionville. Another event that I love, and again, I have an affinity to, is Music on Main, which takes place in the second week of June in Main Street, Markham. Now, Main Street, Markham is essentially Highway 48 or Markham Road. Fun fact, they're all the same street. Main Street, Markham, Highway 48, and Markham Road is the same road, just different names. A little local intel for you. It's a great event. They bring in musicians from all over the world to perform in different hubs along Main Street. They have a ton of bars and restaurants all along Main Street, Markham, where you can grab a quick bite and a beer and tour a few different types of musicians. And generally, they'll bring in one main stage, big performer. It's a great way to connect with the community and walk to an event that, you would have paid probably a lot of money for if you bought tickets for this multiple concerts.
Take my hand, take my whole attitude.
And while you're at any of these city events or festivals, be sure to check in with the town crier. You'll notice him in his colorful red outfit and loud voice and big bell. Super gentleman and a great advocate of the city of Markham. Or you can check in one of our booths. The Ralph Ciancio Homes booth is usually a mainstay at most of these events. So pop in, say hi, mention that you saw us on this video, we'll have a special prize for you. This rich cultural diversity means you're likely to find communities that share your cultural values and will make it easier to feel at home if you're new to Markham. Now, the city of Markham features 9 community centers located throughout the city, which often host community and networking events. So it becomes a lot easier to get to know people within your community. Now, irregardless of where you're from, the melting pot mindset and rich diversity means you're likely to feel at home right here in Markham. Now, let's talk about education. Now, for me personally, with 3 kids, this is a big one. Education is a cornerstone of most families' dream for a better life for their kids and their future. So if you have a family or are planning a family, pay close attention because what I'm about to talk about might be the reason you choose to move to Markham. Now, Markham is home to some of the top-rated schools in the province. Pierre Elliott Trudeau, Markville Secondary School, Unionville High School. These are some of the most commonly seen names on the top-ranked schools in the province of Ontario consistently year after year. Now, the culture within these schools for high performance has earned them a global reputation of great academics. Now, one of the ways that quality of education is measured in the province of Ontario is the EQAO scores. EQAO stands for the Educational Quality and Accountability Office, which is essentially a government entity that monitors it through a standardized test, the quality of education in each school. These scores are reported annually and are summarized through reports and published through great organizations like the Fraser Institute. If you're curious on school rankings and how your school score may rank province-wide, check out the Fraser Institute or click on the link below to get access to the short list. Now, I'll warn you, this is just a way of measuring quality of education. Now, my wife is an educator. I have many clients that are educators, and one argument that they constantly bring forth is that what makes the best quality of education? Is it simply the score on the math test? Now, if we look with that singular lens, then the EQAO score will give you a pretty good benchmark on the scores in that math test or in that math class. But what it does not measure is bullying, does not measure number of birthday parties that your kids are invited to, or extracurricular events, or personal engagement. I'm a huge advocate in quality of education in terms of an individualized stream. If my son got a C in mathematics and the following year got a B plus, that's a huge win. That means my kid was engaged. That means that the teacher did a great job getting the kid excited about learning. Now, a B plus would not score well on the EQAO scores. It would be an okay score, but it would not bring you to a 9.9 out of 10. But from my point of view, my son falling in love with math and going from a C to a B plus, that's a true win. So use it as a tool, but I wouldn't make a final decision based only on standardized tests. Now, Markham is not just home to great elementary schools and high schools, it's also home to great universities as well. York University just opened the Markham campus near Kennedy and Highway 7, and this is going to be a great hub of education for students from around the world and around the GTA. Now, just think of this. If you lived in Markham and you were going to university in Markham, you'd be saving not only a ton of money in getting your post-secondary here at home, but also a ton of time. It's a great cost-benefit analysis for why you would choose to live here in Markham. Another big benefit is the great college systems that are here in Markham and the co-op opportunities that exist between the universities and Markham. With so many tech and finance companies just here within the city, there's great opportunities to start a job and build a career right here in your own backyard. Plus, with so many after-school programs for kids, either in athletics, in the arts, or in leadership, there's a million opportunities for kids to learn and grow outside of the classroom so they can grow and be successful individuals. As we talk about athletics and academics, one of my favorite things about the city of Markham's academics is the school Bill Crothers High School. Now, Bill Crothers is an unorthodox school in that it's not primarily focused only on academics, although they have a strong academic background. It is known as a school for athletics and the balance required to do well in both. What's great about the school Bill Crothers is actually you have to apply as an athlete to qualify to be a student at that school. The school offers flexibility for students so that they can still perform in high performance athletics while still being able to manage the full classroom workload. So flexible work hours, the elongated class schedule where they start 2 weeks earlier than traditional high schools and end 2 weeks later allows for 1 month worth of flexibility throughout the calendar year. Now, this also draws in a ton of talent nationally. For example, the girls or women's soccer team known as NDC, it's the national program for women's soccer. Majority of the athletes go to school at Bill Crothers. They mesh all together and then attend practice all together. Toronto FC Junior Academy, majority of the players also go to Bill Crothers High School, and this becomes now a melting pot of world-class athletics. We've seen it through the Olympics. We've seen it on the national stage in so many aspects. Markham is going to be the birthplace of many athletics and world-class athletes in the generations to come. Now, speaking of Olympics, notable athlete and Markham's own Andre de Grasse just recently won the men's 4x100 gold medal at the Olympics in Paris. Now, I'm proud to say that Andre and I were classmates, not exactly, but he did go to my high school, which was Father Michael McGivney, which is located at 14th Avenue and McCowan Road. And, you know, there was an age difference. We weren't there together at the same time, but I like to think that I may have opened up the gates or created a pathway for him to world-class athletics. It is worth noting that after a year at McGivney, Andre switched schools and went to Unionville High, where he then graduated, and has now gone on to become a world-class athlete and Canadian icon. Now, we've been talking about some of the great things about living in Markham, but if you want to know the real deal, I'll tell you what's behind the scenes and some of the negatives you may find living here. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. And of course, comment down below on which pro of living in Markham resonated with you, or maybe something you found interesting. And of course, if there's a pro that I missed, comment down below on why you love living in Markham. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I don't want to sugarcoat living in Markham. I want to tell you the real deal, and that includes some of the cons for living here in Markham. Now, let's start off with the high cost of living. Living in Markham can be expensive, as the demand for real estate has been on the rise for many years. This is primarily driven by the desire to live in Markham and the growth of local businesses. So the cost of living here, whether you own or rent, has been on a steady increase over the last 10 years. For example, to rent a 2-bedroom condo here in Markham, you probably can expect to pay more than $3,000 Canadian per month. If you're looking to purchase a 2-bedroom condo in Markham, you can expect to purchase at a price anywhere between the high $500,000s, so say $575,000, all the way up to $900,000 to own a condo. Now, if you're looking to own a property with land and with dirt, a freehold townhome will likely start at around $900,000 to $1 million to get into the market. And if you have your eyes set on a larger family home, your typical 2,500 square foot, 2-car garage home on about a 40-foot lot will likely run you anywhere between $1.4 million to $1.9 million, depending on which pocket of Markham you're considering. Now, we are going to do a deep dive on the average cost of living in each community, but that's on another video. Now, depending on your buying habits, whether you like to buy in bulk or maybe you like to find great deals, there are opportunities to save money, whether it means shopping at a local Costco. There are 2 Costcos currently in Markham, or whether you like shopping at more higher end malls like Cadillac Fairview's Markville Mall. You can find anything from designer labels to the Apple Store, and the list goes on, just at your doorstep. So there is an opportunity for you to either live a lavish life or be more frugal with your spending, depending on your needs or lifestyle. That said, the higher cost of living in Markham is offset by the higher convenience. Markham has a lot to offer in return, from great schools to safe neighborhoods and to tons of amenities and things to do. Now, another thing that's a challenge living in Markham, definitely a con, and believe me, as a realtor who spends a lot of time in my car, the traffic here can be horrendous. As the city has grown in population to over 350,000 people living in Markham, and again, the thousands of people that travel through Markham every day, really makes commuting a challenge depending on where you're going and what time you're trying to get there. That being said, highways 404 and 407 are the main highways that travel intersecting Markham and connecting them to other communities. But again, you have huge roads like Major Mackenzie Road, 16th Avenue, Highway 7 and 14th Avenue, and of course Steeles Avenue as the main roads bringing you east and west. And then going north and south, you start off from Bayview Road all the way over to York-Durham line as the streets traveling north and south. Depending on where you're going, traffic can be something you need to factor into your day-to-day. If you're heading into Toronto, the average commute time could be as little as 30 minutes into Toronto proper, or it could be well over an hour, depending if you're hitting at peak traffic times. One thing to consider in terms of the traffic patterns in Markham, construction has a lot to do with it. There's a constant improvement of the roads and infrastructures in Markham, which creates bottlenecks and traffic patterns that are sometimes unpredictable. What is predictable is the school start and stop times. What I've noticed as I traveled throughout Markham and throughout York region and throughout the GTA, you have to pay close attention to when the schools start and stop, because it puts a lot of people on the road for pickups and drop-offs. So sometimes you need to factor in a few minutes extra if you're traveling across the city at that time. Now, the public transportation options are there and they're getting better, but I'll tell you, they're not at a world-class level yet. Go train systems and Go bus systems will take you to and from the city center of Toronto. And then you have YRT, which is a York Region Transit, which is the bus system which will travel buses and LRT throughout York Region and connecting you to the TTC, Toronto Transit Commission, which is the bus system south of Steeles. So although it is accessible and it is getting better with new train and bus stations coming together, every week there's something new happening in public transit, there's still a ways to go for it to be a truly public transit orientated community. Now, one thing I'll say about the York Region Transit as it relates to the highways is that there are dedicated lanes for public transit vehicles so they can cut right through traffic, saving you a bunch of time if you are on the bus or train. Now, talking about skipping over the traffic, one of my favorite features in Markham, and something I kind of hate too, is the Highway 407. Now, 407 is a privately owned highway that travels primarily east and west throughout the Greater Toronto area. Now, this is a toll highway where you pay per kilometer of use, and the cost per kilometer depends on the time of day. Most residents in Markham that choose to use the 407 will lease a transponder, a small box that you put in your car, and it registers your license and your ownership on the vehicle. So as you enter and exit, you can do so seamlessly until the end of the month when you get a bill for all the kilometers you've traveled. Now, personally, I love the exchange of time for money. And I'll almost always choose to give money to save time because I believe that money is infinite and time is finite. That's my own personal values. I use the 407 a lot, primarily because I'm going from point A to point B at erratic times, and I'm trying to make the most of my day. But I'll tell you, it's a hidden cost. If you're moving to Markham, something you should consider is my time to commute if I take Highway 7 to get to work versus how much time will I save taking the 407, but what will that cost add up to by the end of the month? Something to think about. And if you have any questions on actual pricing or maybe more details about transit times, you could always send us a message via direct message or drop a line below. We'll try our best to guide you to get you some answers. All right, lastly, let's talk about Markham's limited nightlife and party scene options. Now, if you're looking for a vibrant place at night, a place where you can head out, possibly jump from bar to bar, or maybe visit a couple different clubs or watch a couple of shows, Markham's not best in class in my opinion. Now, although there are some great restaurants and there are some great bars, you are limited in the nightlife scene compared to other parts of the GTA. Now, although there's a few bars and restaurants that you'll find stay open until 1 or 2 a.m., the majority of the nightlife in Markham starts to settle down just after 11 or close to midnight. And I would say that that's primarily due to the fact that Markham is a very family-friendly community, and I imagine most people may be putting their kids to bed or getting ready for an early morning at work, which limits the number of places that can sustain staying up until 2 a.m. Now, that being said, we are just a short drive, or even better, a short train ride into the city. And if you are looking to catch, for example, a Leafs game or Raptors game, or if you want to go catch Taylor Swift at the Scotiabank Arena, you could easily hop onto a local Go train or Go bus, which will take you right into the city in about 30-ish minutes. You can have the time of your life and make it home to your quiet resting place just in time for the chickens to wake you up in the morning. Now, keep in mind that there's a lot more to a vibrant nightlife than bars and clubs. Of course, you have things like the arts and even theater. Markham is home to the Flateau Theater, which is located near Warden and Highway 7, home to a theater of almost 3,000 people, where great acts come in, whether it be world-class comedians, cultural artists, and of course, musicians will come in and play at the Flateau Theater. Of course, the Fred Varley Art Studio, located on Main Street, Unionville, is a host of some great exhibits as well, if that's your cup of tea. And of course, there's the Fred Varley Art Gallery, which is located on Main Street, Unionville, which has beautiful exhibits celebrating Canadian arts. If that's your cup of tea, it's just a stone's throw away. Me personally, if it's the winter, I love heading down to watch either the Leafs or the Raptors play. Or if it's summer months, I love jumping on the GO train and watching the TFC play at BMO Field. In the end, it really depends on your expectations with regards to nightlife. Markham may be the perfect fit for family-oriented nightlife that suits your needs. Or if you're looking for something a little more vibrant and maybe a little bit more excitement, you may be making trips to Toronto a little more often. So there you have it, the pros and cons of living in Markham. It's a city that's got a lot to offer, from great career opportunities to cultural diversity to excellent schools. But like any place, it comes with its challenges, primarily being the high cost of living and traffic. Ultimately, whether Markham is the right fit for you depends on what you value in a home. If you value cultural diversity, a strong job market, and a great education, and you're okay with a slightly higher cost of living and a quieter nightlife, well then Markham might be a perfect match. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe if you'd like to see more videos on life in Markham. Now, if you're thinking about moving to Markham or anywhere else in York region, don't forget to download our free home buyer starter kit. It's the first link in the description below. We'd love to help you find your dream home. I'm Ralph Ciancio with RE/MAX. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.